Hey, big welcome to this training. I'm Laurie, and today we're going to be talking about the 7 essential ingredients for creating holistic life success. And I want to give a massive shout out to Kurik Ashley. This is actually excerpts or takeaways from his book. So it's not my original content. Huge fan of Kurik Ashley. But we're going to be putting our spin on it, or my spin on it today. Okay, so I think when we talk about success, I think often there's misconceptions about success, and that people think, oh, like success, that's like a negative thing for some people. But I think it's about creating a holistic life success, so that you can have an abundance and wealth and richness or rich life. Does not mean that you have lots of money. It might mean that you've got money, but you actually have a rich life. And I think ultimately that is the goal, to have a rich and abundant life. So we're going to be talking about this. So the first ingredient in creating a holistic life success is desire. So the first ingredient to transform your life into a grand dream life is desire. And just wanting it or hoping for it to happen is not powerful enough to make it happen. Wanting and hoping don't have any emotional power attached to it. And you need to have emotion involved, because that sets that course of law of attraction and all that. So wanting it by itself is not enough. There's a key component to turn your dreams into a reality, and the missing component is passion. You've got to get passionate about what you're doing. Okay, notice that I said you've got to get passionate, because sometimes we don't always feel passionate. I'm sure Usain Bolt isn't always passionate about going down to the track at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning and sticking to his training program. So it's about, how do I get passionate about what I'm doing? And the key way is to get inspired. And that's where really ultimately passion will come from, is that if you can be inspired by something and remember why you're doing something as well. So desire needs to be backed up with the passion. Have you ever noticed that although there are plenty of things that you want to experience in life, you still haven't got round to doing them? The truth is that most people, they wish big, but they wish big and expect very little. Do you know what I mean? Who's ever experienced that? That I'm like, I want these dreams, but it's not like really until you get that expectation that I'm going to make this happen, that it's going to become a reality, where things really start to change. And in life, we get what we expect. Okay? When you expect miracles, miracles happen. So the formula for creation is thoughts turned into actions produce results. And if you want to supercharge that formula, add in emotion. Emotional thoughts turned into massive actions produce ultimate results. I'll read that again. If you want to supercharge this formula, you want to have emotional thoughts turned into massive actions, and they will produce ultimate results. Since desire is wanting backed up with passion, desire is an emotional thought that moves us to take massive action. And that's when our grand dream goals become more tangible and real, because we can feel the feelings now. Is this making sense? Desire is the possibility seeking its own expression. Interesting, right? Very interesting. So we can think about our goals all we want, but we need to really visualize them and experience them and create some emotion around it, because that's ultimately what's going to drive us forward. So number two is that passion and enthusiasm. Okay, so in the book, this is a great book. You might want to write this down. The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles. He says, getting rich is not about the result of doing certain things. It's getting rich is the result of doing things in a certain way. So when Wattles talks about being rich, he's not just referring to money or financial wealth. He's talking about having an enriched life. When you look back on your life, you'll notice that everything you have ever been great at, you're passionate about it. Yeah? When you want to be great at doing something, get passionate about it. That is the certain way of doing things that Wattles talking about. And it's an old book. It's a famous book. So you might want to write that down. So to make your grand dream goals a reality in life, you have to go after them with passion and enthusiasm. The word enthusiasm is derived from the Greek word ethos, anathos. Okay, anathos. Okay, don't quote me on this one. I can't even pronounce. Which means having the God within. Do you think you'd be more powerful and better able to achieve your grand dream goals with God in you? And whether I don't think this is, I'm not, religious. I'm spiritual. I don't think this is necessarily around. I used to have a really negative connotation with the word God. So I went to a Catholic school when I was really little. I didn't have a good experience there. Don't worry, there were no priests involved. But I just didn't. I came out of there with a very, negative word with that. But now, when I think about God, I think about the universe. I think about what's in the trees, I think it's whatever that universal energy for you want to call it. So, are you seeing how this is all connected? Remember, the more power that goes to the source of the light. Okay, and if you're probably not going to get this until you read the whole book. But when more power goes to the source of the light, which is you, the brighter the light becomes. So if you have a light globe, and the more light, the more energy you give that light globe, the harder it glows. And light is attracted to light. We're attracted to the sun. The whole world wakes up to the sun. The bugs and everything attract around light at night. So it's all about energy. It's all about, creating that light brighter, fueling it. So anyway, remember that simply reading your affirmations, simply reading your affirmations every day isn't enough to create your grand dream life. The words, it's not just about reading the words, it's about how you read them. Okay, if you're not reading them with passion and enthusiasm, you're just wasting your time. The same goes for reading your goals. They have to be read with passion and enthusiasm. And when you take actions to produce your desired results, you need to back those actions up with the emotional power of your enthusiasm. Having passion for what you're doing is showing your love for what you're doing. That is the certain way that produces your desired reward. Interesting, yeah? And I think, if I think about what we do, we always go through ebbs and flows, ups and downs. That's life. It's like a wave, right? In life, everything works in waves. So if you're in a lull right now, you need to find a way to get passionate again, because it's your energy, it's your light that will attract more customers, more team members to you. Your team will be inspired by you because your light is glowing harder. And I look at Lee. I know Lee went through a challenging time, and at the moment she's just freaking on fire. And that's just one example. I know that many of you, have different examples of that. It's just one I can think of off the top of my head right now. And everyone noticed. Everyone knows. Everyone knows. Everyone can tell. And I'm not immune to this either. The same thing for me. So I think the outcome of that is just asking yourself, how can I get re-inspired? How can I get passionate again? How can I get that enthusiasm back again? What was I doing when I was passionate, when I was enthusiastic, when I was inspired? What were the actions? What were the things I was doing when I felt that way? Makes sense? And the true character of a leader is tested through the challenges. That's when you really find out the strength of a leader. So belief, number 3 is belief. Belief is an idea you have references for to make it appear to be true, right? So a belief is an idea that you find references for in your life to make it appear to be the truth. It doesn't mean it's the truth. Yet just because you believe it doesn't make it a fact. People can have opposing beliefs, and beliefs can change when you learn or experience something new. For example, do people from different religions have different beliefs? They do, right? So whose beliefs are the truth? Practitioners of many religions believe they alone are right, that their beliefs are the real truth, and all others are wrong. Which religion is right? The answer is none of them, because beliefs are not right or wrong. And as soon as a person changes religion, he also adopts new beliefs. Interesting. Remember that your subconscious mind doesn't have the ability to determine if something is real or not. All it can do is work from the input that you give it. It can only work from the input that you give it. Now, I just watched a documentary. It was like how to, the essential ingredients to become a dictator and, create a regime. And they were talking about North Korea. And from the morning North Koreans wake up, it is law that you have to have the radio on. There's one channel, and it's the dictator, and it's brainwashing. And they literally go crazy. It's full on. Hey, I watched it and I was like, oh my God, I'm so grateful for what we have here. So they because they're implanting beliefs into people's brains. So your subconscious mind will assume it to be the truth. Since your subconscious mind has control over your entire nervous system, it determines what actions you take or don't take. Is this making sense right now? If you wrote down a line on a piece of paper and you carried it in your pocket and you read it every day, after a while, you would start to believe it, even if it's a lie. Do you know anyone who tells so many stories about their life that they actually start to believe those stories? You guys with me? The strategy to get your belief system on board to help you achieve all your grand dream goals is simple. Fake it until you make it. Keep telling yourself with absolute certainty over and over again how you are going to have everything you desire in life. And find many references as possible to make it seem like it's actually going to happen. So, for example, you might watch inspiring stories if you're a mum of other mums that have been successful. Okay, look for things that are going right. Look for examples of why you can do it too. When you do that for long enough, your subconscious mind will start to believe it. And that's when it will actually activate your nervous system to make it happen. Your reticular activation system in your brain will either look for reasons why you can't or look for reasons why you can. You get to choose. Do you walk around looking for all the reasons why it's not going to work or all the reasons why it will work? Is this making sense? Because we all do it. We all do. We all do it. In fact, I would say that probably most of us, some of us, lean toward more the negative side most of the time. What's your predominant thought process happening? You might not even be aware of it. But when you do start to become aware of it, that's the first step to change, is awareness. So it talks about how he instructed the beach volleyball team, Matt and Terry, to say to themselves, these are the world champions in volleyball back then, to say to themselves and anyone else that would listen that they are the gold medalists from Sydney 2000 Olympics. This is before they were the gold medalists. They did this for 2.5 years leading up to the Olympics. They said it so many times and for so long that they actually believed it. When you believe you're a gold medalist, you start to act like you're a gold medalist. When you take the actions that a gold medalist takes, that produces what? It produces gold. And that's exactly what Nat and Kerry produced for themselves, gold medals. So this works around shifting your identity. Yeah, is this making sense right now? You guys with me? Yeah? Awesome. So number 4. And so what I would say is, what's your grand dream goal? What's the new identity that you need to create for yourself? And who could just tell? Make it public. Do a post, do a live. Tell your mom, your sister, your boyfriend, your husband, your mentor, your leaders. Let them know, I'm doing this. This time next year, I'm going to be walking on the stage as XYZ. It's happening. And I'm going to do whatever it takes to make it happen. With absolute certainty. And put it in your pocket. Read it every day. Remind yourself. Your job is to remind yourself. It's not my job. It's not your upline's job. It's your job to remember why you're here, what your mission is, what your purpose is. Yeah. If possible, I'd love if you could put your cameras on if you're able to. It's always much better seeing your beautiful faces. If you're at work or something, I understand. So number 4 is courage. These are two main reasons why you need courage to be holistically successful. The first is that no matter what you know, no matter what you learn, you'll still have fear, uncertainty, and doubt. The truth is that everyone experiences fear, uncertainty, and some doubt, okay? Who said those things were bad? For fear and doubt are neither good or bad. Fear can either break you or make you a champion. What counts is what you do with fear. Having courage doesn't mean you don't have fear. Having courage means you have fear and you move forward in spite of it. The other reason you need to have courage to be holistically successful is because some people will try to shoot down your dreams and knock you off your path. They will come up with reasons why you won't make it and why it's not possible. Who's relating to this right now? Let me know. Who's relating to this? Yeah, this is like nail on the head. Yeah, some of these may be people that work with you. Some may be friends or acquaintances. Some may be your family members. One of these people may even be your partner. Understand that most of these people aren't doing this to be hurtful or malicious. There's no point in being angry with them. They're just acting this way because of their own fears. As soon as you make the decision to go for your dreams, you become confrontational to people who aren't going for theirs. In their world, it appears easier to try and pull you back into the hole that they live in. than to get up and actually take responsibility and take the necessary action to get out of the hole and create their own dream life. If you think deciding to stay in a hole with them is going to help you or help them, it isn't. The only way you can help them is to make positive changes in the only way you can help them to make positive changes in their lives is to lead by example. If it makes sense to throw away your dreams for someone who was never going to go for theirs, the only way to inspire your family, your friends, your community, and the world to be happy, healthy, and wealthy and successful, sound familiar? Is by being that way yourself first. Knowing this, what are you going to do with your fear? Use it to drive you forward or let it paralyze you? Only you have the choice. And yeah. And if you go and chase your dreams and they don't, they were never going to anyway. So why are you worried? Faith. Number 5 is faith. Is this good stuff? The reason faith is such an essential ingredient to creating a holistic, successful life is because faith is the power that gives you light when it seems to be dark. It's faith that turns you into a visionary. Remember that every great achiever on earth was a visionary. Was or is a visionary. Faith is the ability to see things before they are physically there and to see them even when no one else can. You need faith to see your dream in your mind and to hold on to that vision right up until it becomes a reality. That's how you become a visionary. And that's the power that faith gives you. A common question people ask me is, how do I get faith? Most people understand faith is needed, but they don't know how to get it. The way you get faith is by having gratitude in advance. Think about it this way. If you had already achieved your grand dream goal, would you be grateful for it? Hopefully. Of course you would. When you're grateful for it in advance, your brain expects your grand dream goal to be accomplished. Because why else would you already be grateful? Remember, in life, you get what you expect. Gratitude in advance creates that expectation. And that's known as faith. Isn't this powerful? One of the best things about having faith is the more faith you have, the less doubt you have. So if you're never feeling doubtful about your ability to do something, so if you're ever feeling doubtful about your ability to do something, increase your level of faith and the doubt will diminish. If you look at Jesus' life, you'll see that he had an unwavering faith that he could perform miracles, and he achieved that unwavering faith by thanking the Creator in advance of receiving the gift. He would say things like, and again, I'm not religious, but I think there's great lessons in some of this stuff. Listen to this. This is powerful, right? He would thank in advance. He would say, thank you, Father, for giving me the power to heal this person. That gratitude gave him unwavering faith that he could perform the miracle, and then he went about doing that. And remember, Jesus also said, even the least among you can do all that I have done, and even greater things. Powerful, powerful teachings. And whether you believe in the Bible or Jesus or anything like that, I think, take away the lessons that are here because they're universal. Action with follow through is number 6. Without consistent action, your dreams are just fruits that will die on the vine. Oh, it's just awesome. Let's say that again. Without consistent action, your dreams are just fruits that will die on the vine. Remember, the people who have the best rewards are the ones who do what average people aren't willing to do. And it's in the doing that we develop the most, that we personally develop. Every action you take towards the achievement of your grand dream goals is an investment in their fulfillment. Every one of those actions is like a pebble being dropped into a pond, creating the processional ripples that will carry even grander rewards in your life. Do a 98% great job, and that 2% you didn't follow through on will wipe out all the good effort that you put in. It's like quitting 2 inches away from crossing the finish line. There aren't any medals given out for that. The fortune is in the follow through. Those who have the ability to take action have the responsibility to take action. Awesome. Number 7, self-acceptance. Have you ever done anything bad or inappropriate in your life? By the way, lying qualifies. No, none of us, of course not. Have you ever stolen anything? That includes the pen from work that you didn't pay for. Have you ever acted in a way that didn't represent the good person you want to be? For most people, the final essential ingredient is self-acceptance. It's the most difficult thing to achieve. The reason it's so tough for people to have self-acceptance is because in the back of their mind, they have this nagging thought they aren't worthy or deserving of having a truly wonderful and magical life because they've done something inappropriate in their past, or maybe even in their recent past. But guess what? Everyone has done something that they're not proud of. Everyone has made mistakes. And everyone deserves to be forgiven and given another chance. Thinking you are not worthy couldn't be further from the truth. We all deserve everything we want to experience in life while we are here on earth. Why do you think the Creator put us all here? So that He could tease and torture us by not allowing us to enjoy it? Ludicrous, right? Does that make any sense? Of course it doesn't. So how does a child learn to walk? A child learns to walk by falling down. I'm going to repeat that. How does a child learn to walk? A child learns to walk by falling down. When your child first tries to stand up, then topples over, do you get angry at him for falling down? Of course not. Most parents celebrate their children's attempts to stand up. When a child stands up and then falls over, the parents say, "Oh, look at my precious little angel, he did a boo-boo." Or even cheer for the failure, perceived failure. There is no success without failure. Since the time you learn to walk, you have tripped. Since the time you learn to walk, have you ever tripped over or fallen down? When this happened, you didn't think you were a failure, and you didn't want to cut off your legs. Did you? I don't think so. When your children make mistakes in life, do you forgive them? I'm assuming that you do. So why would you think the Creator doesn't forgive all of His children the same way? It makes no sense that the Creator would set us up to fail by giving us the opportunity to make choices and then, when we do, punish us for the rest of our lives for making a disempowering choice. Where is it written that we're supposed to be perfect? And if we're supposed to be perfect, then why didn't God or the Creator make us that way from the beginning? Do you think God makes mistakes? As soon as you're perfect, you can expect the Grim Reaper at your door because there's no reason for you to still be here. Our time on earth as human beings is a learning experience. And when we do some of our best learning, when we make mistakes. It's in our imperfectionness that makes us perfect human beings. Interesting. If you ever want to find your way around a new town, go and get lost. The more times you get lost, the better you'll learn your way around. It's now time to forgive yourself for whatever wrongs you feel you have done in the past so that you can heal and move on, which sounds more empowering. Hating yourself for making an inappropriate choice or forgiving yourself and growing from the experience. How would love respond? And if you believe you don't deserve to be forgiven, too bad. Remember that being holistically successful in life is not only your birthright, but it's your obligation. It's a debt you owe to the universe for the gift of life you were given. It's the natural order of the universe for everything else in it to try and reach its highest potential. Evolvement isn't what you should do. It's what you must do. It's your life's quest. When you do great things in your life, you give others the permission to do the same with theirs. I'm going to say that again. When you do great things in your life, you give others the permission to do the same with theirs. If you don't do it for yourself, you still owe it. You still owe doing it for others. If you can't do it for yourself, do it for someone else. That's basically what he's saying. Have you ever noticed the world needs a little help these days? Well, the only way that's ever going to happen, the only way things are going to get better is when all of us decide to take personal responsibility for making it better. When you have your grand dream life, you can show others the path to get there too. Right now, go back to chapter 9 and add this last identity to your I am list. Okay, so this is about creating a new identity. I am worthy of all my goals and dreams. You know, personally, I've said affirmations similar to this over and over and over for probably about 10 or 15 years, pretty consistently. And I'm a huge believer that this is why we've created the success we've created in our life. Has it been easy? No. Has it been worthwhile? 100%. This is why you'll hear great mentors say it wasn't the goal that was achieved was great. It was who I had to become along the way to be worthy and deserving of achieving those goals. Does that make sense? This is the last of the 10 I Ams and will complete your list. Make sure you put your 10 on your face. So make sure you put them somewhere you see them every day, that you can read them out aloud with passion. As Wallace D. Waddell says, getting rich is not the result of doing certain things. Getting rich is in the result of doing things in a certain way. So make sure you read your new identities out loud with passion and purpose. When you do this, this is who you will become. So I wanted to share that. This book definitely changed my life, or was one of the things that I've implemented that have transformed our life and helped us create the success and the lifestyle that we have. And you know, my hope is that it inspires you into a new way of thinking, a new way of being. with everything we do first starts with a thought. And if you create an emotional thought, it turns into massive action because you're passionate, you're inspired, and then turns into incredible ultimate results. So thanks so much for joining me on that training call. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Share this with your people.